I'm very, very excited to moderate this panel because this is, for me, the most important question in vertical software today. For most of you guys who are founders, you are pursuing more or less one of two strategies. You are the core system of record that does everything for the customers that you serve, or you are in some way closer to an AI employee where you're selling work or selling like core AI systems and workflows to your customers. What we have today, well, I'll let them introduce themselves, but we have three people who have very different perspectives on this question, which to my mind is the most important question in vertical software today, to Matt's point about secrets. So starting maybe with you, Roland, maybe some introductions, and then I can frame the conversation from there.
Sure. Hey, everybody. I'm Roland Leitenberg. I'm one of the founders of House Called Pro. I always like to say we build software for plumbers, but it's all home services, 50 verticals or so, and 12 years in. And so finally, Quinn was like, hey, you should be on this panel. So I said, all right, let's do it. It's a fun topic for sure.
Yeah, my name is AJ. I'm one of the co-founders of Broccoli. We are building AI agents for home service businesses, plumbers, electricians, HVAC. So we answer their phones, book jobs, dispatch technicians, and yeah, very excited to be here.
Cool. My name's Omri. I'm the CEO of Fractal Software. We're a venture studio that exclusively incubates vertical software companies. Over the last 5 years, we've launched nearly 150 vertical software startups. Nearly all either were or are systems of record, and we're now just starting to launch sort of pure play vertical AI companies as well. Although some of our portfolio, which we can talk about, has sort of pivoted into pure play AI as well.
Yeah. So I'm very interested to hear basically about where the seams are, and I think that might be the best place to start. Is each of these strategies, well, sort of the AJ strategy or the Roland strategy maybe, has really distinct advantages. And what we've seen over the last couple of years, as most of you are probably aware, is new vertical AI companies absolutely ripping from a cold start to 3 million, 4 million, 10 million in ARR, which is something that those of us who built core system of record software companies that compounded over 10, 15 years have never seen anything like that before. On the one hand, this speaks to tremendous customer demand, but the question is, where is it going to go from here? I think AJ and Roland, each of you has a position on why your approach to often the same customers is advantaged. And Omri, I think you have a very interesting spot here as someone who has both launched a lot of each type of strategy and seen companies in your portfolio pivot from one to the other. So I'd like to start by just asking open-ended where each of you sees this going. Maybe Roland with you.
So 12 years ago, there really wasn't AI. So there wasn't a debate on like, oh, what strategy would we pursue? And so I think from 2015, when we really launched the product to market, it was launched as a system of record. And it started with just simple scheduling, invoicing, dispatching, payments out of the gate, all from a mobile app, mobile only, mobile first. And that's where we started. And really, what is a system of action? It's a place where humans can go, or a system of record, it's a place where humans can go take action inside of it and do it in a more efficient way. Right? So plumbers existed well beyond any kind of software did, and so it was just pen and paper was the system of record. Filing cabinets was the system of record. So just continuing upgrades. And so when you think about a system of action, it's really just we're enabling humans to do things in a much more efficient way. And as AJ will probably say now too, like there's agents that can do what humans can do inside of a system of record. And there's also a hybrid mode. So we can talk about all of those, but it wasn't so much as a decision other than that's how we were built. And now we have the opportunity and the distribution, the ability to offer better ways to take action on things, AI or not.
Yeah. So do you, Roland, 5 years from now or 10 years from now, where do you see the value Like where in your view will companies like yours be, and where in your view will companies like AJ's be?
I think there's like more meta viewpoint, which is like, where will we all be, in 5 to 10 years? And really that's like working and doing and providing the most value that we can. And each human will specialize in different things that they can do, want to do, that make them happy. And so independent of what kind of vertical SaaS it is, for House Call Pro, the more time we can have our pros, which are really standing jobs, do more standing jobs, interfacing with homeowners, troubleshooting. You have to be incredibly creative to be a plumber. You have to be incredibly creative to be an electrician. All those things won't be taken away. But a lot of the other things that might be conceived as like sitting jobs, things that maybe plumbers don't want to do, those will just disappear, right, and be done by systems of action, whether that's inside of a system of record, on top, on the side, whatever it is. But the more time our customers can spend time doing what really makes them truly good and unique, that's a win, independent of kind of the way that they get there.
Cool. AJ?
Yeah, I have a bad throat, sorry. I think I 100% agree with what Roland mentioned. It's like our industry has seen the system of record, the prominent system of record change every 10 to 15 years. We went from paper to spreadsheets, from spreadsheets to cloud CRMs like House Call Pro, Service Titan. And we're again seeing a change. It's more like an AI operating system, but we feel like we don't know who's going to be the winner. We want to be the winner, and we right now work on top of existing system of records. And there is like whoever solves our customers' changing needs the quickest and the fastest is going to earn the trust. And we rely heavily on customer relationship because we are an AI employee, and an employee learns how the business operates and not the opposite way. So we don't have training modules for our customers like this is how you're going to use Broccoli. It's like give us your SOPs and we're going to learn how to build this. So therefore the rise of forward deployed engineers, we don't call ourselves that. It's for other companies, but we still do the same thing. We are more like we are in their offices trying to understand how they operate. And this market is very fluid. Like every day there's a new problem because the technician had a bigger issue, they did not get the parts, so now the next job is delayed. So even if you have a software, you still need humans because the business is so fluid, and it's still a hard problem to solve through AI. So we feel like it's still very early days for us to claim that yes, AI is going to take over everything. It's if you are in the shop, you'll understand it's chaotic and it's going to take a lot of hard work. So it's going to take at least the next 10 years to figure out what's the form factor of their new business. But yeah, it's very exciting.
But would you agree it's the primary focus is going to be the plumber going into the home and fixing the plumbing issue?
100%.
And the more time they do it, I think the end result is the same. The way in which it happens in the connection, whether it's record, AI, whatever the piece is, who knows how that's going to play out.
Well, that's what I'm so interested to hear, and that's such a good articulation. The employee determines how the business operates versus like what we've all heard is in years prior, control points, systems of record. Omri, I'd love to hear what you've seen across your portfolio.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been doing this for 5 years at Fractal, and I think we've never been as excited about the opportunity in front of us and like terrified, because I think there's no question AI is a major opportunity, a major risk to existing systems of record, and I sort of think about them, and Fractal, we think about them as two different paradigms. So I think the one we've seen in the wild, which is 0 to 5 million, 0 to 10 million of ARR, tends to be solutions kind of like AJ's, which are trying to automate a process mostly end-to-end, if not fully end-to-end. So we're going to handle customer service, or we're going to automate this paperwork flow, and we're going to charge you for it. And I think the risk there is, yes, it is not the system of record, it's not the choke point, it doesn't sit and own all the data, but I think the other factor here is just capital is a reality too. And VCs are going to fund what's in front of them. And thematically, I think a lot of VCs feel like they have to be in AI right now. And then secondly, just the growth rates you've been talking about, like there's opportunities for VCs to put money into those companies.
Yeah.
And so I think Carta published this a few months ago, but I think Series A prices over the last 4 years have gone from like 40 to 45 million. I think the median ARR has gone from 1.4 to 3. Right? So it's just really, really hard for a system of record approaching its Series A to get to like 3 million of ARR off a couple $1 million of pre-seed or seed capital, whereas these faster growing new entrants are. And so, Yeah, it kind of may feel like a sideshow, but if you've gone and raised 30, 40, 50 million dollars, like I would start worrying about those companies like AJ's eventually backing into a system of record.
Yeah.
So I think that's like one vector of the threat. And the other one, which I think we've seen less in the wild, but our co-founder at Fractal is named Nate Baker. He's the CEO of a company called Qualia, which is vertical SaaS for title insurance. Very scaled, dominant vendor in their space. And they rolled out a product yesterday called Qualia Clear, and it's less about automating sort of one workflow end to end. It's sort of like a co-pilot for all of the people in the software. And so they're sort of abstracting away their own system of record, and they're using a command line interface as the form factor. They're making the bet that that's going to be the form factor of the future. And so it lets the user, maybe not the plumber, but like the person sitting in the back office, be reactive instead of proactive. Right? It's, hey, Coin, great to see you this morning. Here's the 5 most important things you probably need to get going. Can I start doing those for you? Do you want to check my work? Right? And so, again, we've seen less of that in the wild, but if you abstract away the system of record, there's obviously the risk that it becomes essentially a dumb database, right? And the value accrues to the next layer of abstraction. And so we're sort of worried about both.
Right, right. And that's, I think, the story that was being told 2 years ago when all these AI things came out was everyone was saying, well, the system of record is just going to be able to roll this out. AJ, I'd like to know, in your mind, why has there been an opportunity for you to exist? Why isn't ServiceTitan, let's say, doing everything that you're doing? They have the distribution, they have the data. Why do you exist?
I honestly don't have an answer to this. Up to Roland and ServiceTitan to answer that, and I think they already have products that do something similar to what we do. So that just validates it's an opportunity, and yeah, you need somebody to answer the phone. But I still think it's a hard problem to solve.
Yeah.
What we are doing is, like, the existing system of record helps you to enable that, but you still are automating a human's job.
Yeah.
And the human is a complex creature. They use 5 other software tools, and they're responsible for task end to end. So let's say if a call comes in and you don't book a job, a human follows up with the lead tomorrow and then the next day and for like 6 times. That's their SOP. So you need to orchestrate that workflow. You don't need an AI that can answer a call and then hang up and send an email saying that we just lost this lead. A human is responsible for covering up and doing so much more. So the workflows that we are building are genuinely hard, and we don't think we've still solved the problem end to end, where we claim that yes, like get rid of your human call center. It's still a great backup to humans, and we're trying to build things that replace a task or replace a person's job end to end in one aspect, so that they can repurpose their employees to do some more creative works and not the manual process of answering a call. So yeah, I think it's still very early for us to comment on like why can't somebody else do this, because we've also not done that yet, and we are also trying to figure that out. So the traction
To press on that point a little bit, like you've got hundreds of customers. From a cold start, very quickly you grew. You're calling on me. I'm a plumber, and I'm using, let's say, ServiceTitan. And I say, hey, I was just talking to my account manager yesterday, and he said they're going to do all this. Yeah. I'm sure you hear this. What do you say when a plumber says that?
So I don't understand the question.
So you're making a sales call. I'm your prospective customer. And you say, I've got this AI employee, it'll follow up with the leads, it's going to be so amazing, your business is going to grow so fast. And I say, well, gosh, that sounds nice, but I'm already using ServiceTitan, and I just talked to ServiceTitan yesterday, and they said they're going to do this for me. Now, I don't think you would have grown as quickly as you have if you said, oh, well, have a nice day then, and hung up. What do you say when someone says that to you?
So I would, like, we're still not there yet. We have like close relationship with ServiceTitan, and they're promoting Broccoli. We get like leads from ServiceTitan as well. Their CSMs refer Broccoli because ServiceTitan is great at what they do, but they've still not built a full-fledged AI voice agent product. So we've not seen that yet, but I do agree that it's going to happen in the next 6 months or maybe 9 months.
Yeah.
But we are already beyond a point where we do so much more. It's like we are touching marketing as well, where people the system of record only exists if a human answers a call and then they put in those details, because most data is unstructured, it's conversational. So as soon as you go live with Broccoli, we are honestly storing much more data, and we have a lot of other SORs calling us and requesting us to put the data back in their systems. So we're already seeing a trend where it's the opposite way, because I hate putting data into HubSpot after a sales call. It's the same with their sales rep as well.
Yeah.
So nobody is like, the data is only good if the humans are able to put all of that back into the systems, which most people don't do, honestly. And if Broccoli is live in your company, we're doing everything and we're storing that data, which does not even exist in the SOR because it's unstructured. So we're still not there yet where we have our existing SORs strongly competing with us, because we've already moved on to the next thing where we touch marketing and then we touch dispatch, and all of this affects what we do, like what our core product gets better because of all the other services that we are offering. So we're already beyond the point where we're competing as an AI call center. So I think that's our strategy. The only way we de-risk the business is by getting deep into the workflows. So that's our goal.
Roland, 5 years from now, will you be more of an app marketplace where there are a bunch of people like Broccoli competing for your customers' businesses? Or will you have everything that Broccoli is doing today?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different strategies that, if you're a scaled vertical SaaS, you can take. One is go like full Shopify model, open ecosystem, rev share, have lots of different plugin tools and all those pieces. And then another model is you're a closed system, you're all in one, and it's really easy to one-click deploy. And because House Call Pro already has all of the data, and even more than you might imagine from an individual user perspective, House Call Pro has data on 100 million jobs, 99% of all zip codes in the United States, 1 in 3 homes in the United States our service providers provide. So there's AI can use the data within its own system, right? Our current CSR AI, our current analyst AI, they all operate within that siloed data set of that individual pro user. But there's all the learnings across all the rest. And traditionally that would be called a network effect, right? So if you're not a part of it, you're gonna lose out. If you're a part of it, you get the benefit of knowing all of these things. If there's different call scripts that are working, if there's different marketing touch points that are working, if Google introduces a new type of LSA via their AI mode or something, right? You can see it from many more points of light versus just a singular kind of a company. So I think long-term, 5 years from now, House Call Pro, it's just, our pros just really want to do the work, and they don't want to have to cobble together a whole bunch of different solutions. But I will say our pros are constantly hiring people, and hiring people is going to be synonymous with hiring agents and people to do tasks. And so I think that within the world of whatever helps champion our pros to success, which is our mission, ultimately, if they're able to run their business on our platform, make payments, use our banking solutions, just all the different pieces of the puzzle that we have, that's good for us, right? If our pros grow, then we grow as a company.
Yeah. AJ, conversely, I know that in the most ambitious vision of when you, like Roland, are at hundreds of millions in ARR, how many of your customers will be using only Broccoli?
Good question.
I don't have an answer to that again. But I think I'm very confident that there's going to be an AI operating system that abstracts away everything. This input-output is natural. You don't need to click on 6 buttons to access a piece of information. So it's going to change. It's just going to be a database underneath, and everything is going to be very natural.
I think the microphone might not be picking you up.
Hello? Yeah, it's better now. So yeah, we definitely see a world where there's going to be a very different interface for our customers, where in an ideal world, there's just the owner and the technician that exist. The whole back office has been automated and the AI is running your business. You tell the AI, I want to increase profitability by 3%, and we do the math and tell them what they need to do. So we are trying to build a future that looks like that. So yeah, we don't know if we are going to be that company that does everything or how things change. So but yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah. So in that world, are you a Rainforest customer directly? All the payments are running through Broccoli?
Yeah, like honestly, if we were to take care of our customers the best way, we would do whatever it takes. So we again focused on the customer, and whoever solves their pains and problems is going to be the winner. So whatever it takes, yeah.
This is getting juicy. Roland, are you going to let that happen?
We all start from zero. We did it 12 years ago, and everyone told us you can't do cold outbound to a sub 1,000 ACV customer. And we did it. We continue to do it. And I think that when ultimately you're building a customer, AJ is actually right. You have to listen to the customer, always. You have to be very close with them. And so that's something that's kind of core to us at House Call Pro. And I feel like the biggest thing is you have to win the trust of the customer, and as a system of record, they have to trust that the records they're keeping are accurate because they run their entire livelihood. They pay their mortgage, just everything. Their entire net worth is wrapped up in this business, so it can't mess up. And so with AI, you can build something pretty amazing 80% of the way really fast, and you can blow people's minds. But if you drop a call, if you mess something up and all of a sudden they missed a $25,000 HVAC replacement, you're on the line. If you break that trust, they're going to fire you, just like they fire other employees. If you're a system of record, it's a little bit different, right? The level of responsibility is different. And so, just saying it's a database, likely not. I think the interface layer will change. So House Call Pro, we have voice mode now. We launched it. It's on a small subset of our customers, but the interface is no interface, and it's just voice. And it's because they're in a crawl space, they're in the attic, they can't see anything. And if you don't know, but if you put your phone at 100% brightness in a crawl space or an attic space, and you're trying to then look over to your left and actually go fix the thing you're trying to do, you're blinded. You gotta wait. You gotta wait for your eyes to adjust. And people don't think about that unless you talk to your customers. And so we talk to them. And so the voice interaction, enabling some agent, whether it's directly a part of the system of record or some third party, like that will be the communication method, no different than a plumber bringing his little apprentice who just jumped out of trade school, and guess what? He's gonna be digging all of the trenches all summer long, and he's gonna be the one running the line through the crawl space with all the little spiders running around. So I think long term, 5, 10 years from now, that layer of how they'll be operating the system of record is going to be probably no different than they would just be operating with another human being, which may be an AI agent, doing the things that they don't want to do, which goes back to the original thing, which is the pros want to do their job, service the customer, they love to troubleshoot, they love to find creative solutions to problems. There's like an infinite amount of things that can go wrong with homes. Those of you as homeowners probably know that. And homeowners will pay whatever it takes because they don't know what good looks like. They just know that something works. So they have to trust the plumber. The plumber has to trust the system of record and everything else they've previously done in that home.
So, thank you. Omri, I'm curious, do you feel like across 150 maybe verticals that you guys operate in, there are some verticals where different strategies are more advantaged?
I guess you could ask tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah, so what
you
I'm
could either
thinking
see,
is, yeah.
Because I can see two potential answers to that, right?
Yeah.
One is, where is AI most effective and drives most value in a specific industry? Or the other is, where does AJ's AI startup best compete against a system of record?
I meant the second, but the first thing sort of feeds into that.
Yeah, on the latter, I think, one thing we haven't talked about is just sort of like the competence of the incumbents, right, or the market dynamics. And so
Roland is very competent.
No, I know. I'm saying, but what is your market share? Are you able to say that?
It's still single-digit %, and that's how big the market is.
Right. And so,
by trade,
Hundreds of millions in ARR, folks.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And so, part of the answer there is, I don't know, maybe they got a scaled company, they're super competent, like maybe tearing customers off of them onto AJ's solution is going to be rough, but he has 91% of the market to go after, even if he can't attack House Call Pro, right? And so I think general fragmentation and competence of the incumbents, I think really, really matters. And then I guess the complexity, like AJ is saying, we haven't even really figured out the core thing we're doing. If you're building a very simple AI scribe and you want to go sell to Epic customers, I would be worried about that, right? They're huge, they're dominant, they don't play nice, and the thing you're building is not that complicated. So I guess, higher complexity, more fragmentation, less competent vendors as sort of a framework.
Yeah.
You should probably just like address like where, like when someone buys AI currently, like where is it coming out of their share wallet? Right now, it's able to be charged because it's directly compared to what a human would have done or could have done or should have done. And so you're like, well, wow, they can grow so fast. And there's so many 5 and 10 million ARR AI startups. Why do they grow so fast? Well, they're just kind of sucking the value out of the human OpEx, right, that was doing that job. But 5, 10 years from now, if the cost of actually doing that via AI is low, why would someone continue to pay what a human could do if no human would do it anyways in the first place, because they're doing other things? So then wherein lies the value? And so I think there's this like really interesting just thought across any vertical SaaS solution. You can charge a lot right now because you're like, well, a human would cost you $50K a year, so pay us $20K a year. You still get the value because it's on 24/7 and never forgets a thing and doesn't mess up. By the way, it does mess up. You know, but what happens 5 years from now when everyone's got it? Is that the baseline? Who determined that? Why? What's the true value of the task being done? So I think that's where it gets a little more complex.
Yeah.
And it's not just so simple, because what if the cost for us to run a voice agent drops to less than a penny per minute? And why don't we just offer that for free?
Yeah.
And even if someone were to build AI so good, what if we just built it that's probably like 95% as good, and we have all the trust, and we just offer it for free? As a plumber, what would you pick? Something $500 a month or 10 to 20K, or, you know, so there's like real things to think about 5, 10 years, like where will it play out and where is the value really, truly created?
Yeah.
And so pricing is going to be probably the most interesting topics. We're not really covering that here, but like how do you price it? Is it usage-based, action-based, value-based, monthly SaaS? So you can't really compare them either, right? When you're thinking about, I mean, you're like, what is
No,
it,
we
1.5?
can and should cover that here. That is one of the important questions. AJ,
Yeah, we have 18 minutes.
take it away.
Yeah, I think that's therefore like it's so unclear right now. But I don't think the business model is like, we don't think we've figured that out, but
Yeah.
we're experimenting, and we have two kind of business models where yes, you charge per minute, which is the simplest one. It was easy for us to get started with, but our customers, I think I disagree with Roland's point where you give it away for free, then this is what you're going to get. Like if it's a 20K job, I'm going to spend $1,000 to book that job and not want a service that's free, because your service is not commoditized. Like the way you answer the call determines whether this customer is going to book with you or the second company or the third company. So I still feel there's a lot of nuance in the way the call center rep answers the call in this industry. Maybe it's different for other verticals, but for us it's like empathy, reassurance, and they have SOPs, they train their CSRs bi-weekly. So it's still a pretty nuanced skill set, and therefore we feel like, I spoke to a lot of other AI voice agent companies, and ours is the most nuanced ones because it's an emergency. My toilet is clogged and therefore I'm calling a plumber. And the risks are even higher because if you drop that, the owner is going to call us. So if Broccoli has been successful, we've spent so much time to make sure our customers are happy because they can fire us after one dropped call. So it actually gives us more confidence that whatever we've done is working, and nobody's going to go back to a call center. Every single Broccoli customer is seeing that Broccoli is going to do much more for them because we've earned their right to upsell them the second, third, fourth, fifth product in a very short term, like just like the last 12 months. So in terms of business models, we've just gotten a huge customer that has changed our business model, and we just agreed. They said that we are just going to pay for the outcomes. And we are like, yeah, sure, the incentives are aligned. And I did a math on our existing customers, and if we change our business model, our revenue actually increases by 120%. So
you just pay for jobs booked?
Yeah, like let's say $50 per job booked. That's it. So that's a much better business model according to me as well. ServiceTitan has made this public. They make 2% of the customer's top line revenue on a full platform deployment.
Yeah.
That's it. Like our goal is to take 5% of that, and 5% is savings for them. So if we change our business model to align with their outcome and the revenue that Broccoli brings in, I think that's a major win for us, honestly. So we are 110% open to experiment and change different business models to figure out how do we align with our customers, that they see Broccoli as a partner, as an employee. If we do the job, we make money, and we don't pay $1,000 just because we are using a software that is not responsible for the outcome.
Yeah.
So the stakes are higher, but the rewards are also equally high.
That is so interesting. So the way that traditionally a sales process, if you were going head to head, and like you do feature by feature, right? But your feature is going to be the same as anyone else's AI employee feature. It's like we do the work for you. So how does that sales process work? Have you gone head to head with either the AI functionality of a Service Titan or a House Call Pro even, or gone head to head with the other AI platforms?
Yeah, I think in terms of competition, we still compete with other AI startups more than the incumbents, because our customers have already, if they were to decide between like Service Titan and House Call Pro, most likely they would have already chosen them, but we're still not seeing that. Like we heavily focus on like the big like upper market where we work with private equity and franchise roll-ups, and they have their own whole strategy. They're talking to everyone in the market, and then they are choosing a vendor that's more like an AI partner. So we compete on features as well. Yes, like how much can you do? Can you answer a call? Can you make an outbound call? Can you respond to my Yelp lead? Can you follow up after the lead is dropped, like rehash? So there's a lot of things. So we still are being compared in terms of features, and we're still not seeing customers talking about outcomes, but there are a certain segment of customers that are thinking about, if your AI is going to answer the call, why not just make money if it books a job or not? We're still being compared as an answering service, and the answering service was charging them per minute, and therefore it's still not, like the industry is still not used to outcome-based pricing.
So is it mostly feature by feature? Or like when you're going up against someone else, is it just like, hey, we can do something with Yelp, can they do something with Yelp? Or is it more about...
Yeah, I think it's a flaw, because you can just claim that I can respond to a Yelp lead, but are you going to book the Yelp lead is still something that our customers are not that concerned about. Right now, I think it's a feature race, and we are in the race, and we are leading. So we are building more features more quickly than any other. Like, I'm not comparing us to incumbents, but the other AI startups. So it's still a feature race, but then retention is determined on how you respond to that lead. So in terms of sales, yes, sales is easy, but retention is still pretty hard, because they're going to buy the software or solution, and if you don't convert within a month, it's like we're not getting the returns we expected. So retention, like conversion still matters, but not in the sales calls.
Roland, how does that compare to your experience launching AI products on your platform?
I mean, we're lucky because we have the distribution, and we've earned the trust of our users over multiple years. So I'd say we're very advantaged versus the new startup that has to build a relationship from scratch. You know, by and large, you're asking a customer to trust their livelihood with your system, which is like a stretch. And we're out of kind of the early adopter phase at this point from a software perspective, just in the home services space. But when you just take a look at, we did different AI surveys, we published it, it's on a blog somewhere, but when we take a look at the amount of AI products our pros are already using, they're using multiple ones in and outside of just House Call Pro. Often just, you'll see them use ChatGPT, Claude. A lot of our plumbers would probably be pretty surprised, but maybe they're not the best writers. So they write amazing invoices, and they use other tools. And now what we do at House Call Pro is go, okay, you do that, boom, let's make it really easy for you to write it based upon all the things we know about your business and all the customer history interaction with that one particular customer. Let's help you rewrite the invoice so it converts higher and make sure that customer's more sticky. Like it's small things like that that exist within the platform where we can leverage the data within, their individual company, 100 million jobs, 50,000 pros, et cetera, just across, the US that we have from that. So I think, as we kind of unwrap that a little bit, I feel like rolling out AI features to our existing users is relatively easy because we already have that trust signal. And for us, we think about them as AI team members. That's what we call them. And so there's different people that you'd hire in your business. So we model it to people rather than to like sub-agents and orchestrations and fancy words. It's just, hey, you got a CSR AI, you got an analyst AI, you got an accounting AI, you got a coach AI. You've got all these different team members that now, if you're a small, 5-person plumber, which is an average of kind of our demographic, you can act and operate as if you're like a 12 or 15 employee company because you've leveraged these AI employees. So I think it comes to positioning it the right way, making sure it works, whatever vertical SaaS you are, it's easy, like AJ said, If there's an existing solution out there like call centers, pros are used to hiring call centers. So just emulate that and then like reprice it. So know your customer. But if you keep that really similar to what they already kind of understand on a daily basis, it's like, oh, can I hire this or can I hire this AI thing at a fraction of the cost and do something fairly similar? It doesn't have to do all of the things. Remember, you can still deliver value if it's not complete human replacement, because the reality is like AI is still probably at a 12th grade level, that you still like will be really good at some things, but not all the things. You got to make sure they don't go off track and do something crazy. And so that's going to progress, but relatively easy if you have the distribution and the trust.
And to that distribution point, when you are, when you're proposing an AI employee to one of your customers, how often is that customer comparing that AI employee to a Broccoli or to some outside startup?
Probably zero, because the size of all these AI startups is effectively zero in the world of home services. That's just how big it is. A lot of the, I call it like enterprise home service companies doing $10 million or more, they are maybe even more in the forefront because they're PE owned, they're doing part of some sort of roll up, they're part of some sort of franchise system, and so they deploy those things kind of tops down and go, thou shalt, right? And so it's a different kind of methodology in which, you know, we get pitched, you know, and talked to all the time. There's a new voice AI startup every single time. Like, everyone picks up like a Vapi or a retail and goes like, I built a voice agent and let me have access to the API, and it's like, you know, I don't know, literally multiples per week. So the reality is like next to zero. And then for our pros, because we already have all the knowledge, we already have the SOPs, we already know who can do what work, what the pricing is, all the pieces. The pros don't have to like go through a full interview process to be able to set something up. They can just go like, oh, I want it on, and it clicks on and it works. And it's like, whoa, how did it know all that stuff about my business, my service area? Well, we know, because we're the system of record. We know what your service area is. You don't even have to tell us. And it's like, well, how'd you know that Bobby can do water heaters? But Joey, we don't trust him with water heaters because he blew up a customer's home. We're like, how did you know that? Because we're the system of record, right? We knew that. Don't dispatch him. And so those things come out of the box. And then our audience, that kind of $10 million and under sort of a business, you know, that those customers just want easy. Just click, no training, just working, and it's different.
AJ, have you found that onboarding thing is more of a challenge for you?
Yeah. Tonight I'm flying to Oklahoma City, so we still show up for like bigger companies because it's complex. They have like 70 people in the office answering their phones, and Broccoli's not replacing those 70 people. We're replacing the outsourced answering service that's picking up the phone after hours over the weekends. So like Broccoli is not even handling 100% of the phone calls, and we've grown so quickly. Now imagine if we do much more, and that's our market, like those 70 people. So yeah, onboarding is hard, and like I think I agree to Roland's point as well. It depends on how complex the business is, and we work with companies that do at least 2 to 4 million in revenue. The bigger the company is, the better the fit is. So our like biggest customer does over 180 million from one single location. And we work with several companies that do over 2 billion in annual revenue across all their locations. So they treat us as, today Broccoli's answering this call, tomorrow they're going to do this, and like this is how we've pictured that. So therefore, like we are not even going after those companies right now because we've not even figured out how we're going to take care of this market. So eventually, yes, after maybe a couple of years, it becomes commoditized. As Roland again mentioned, it just works out of the box. Right now, it does not work out of the box. So therefore, it's a challenge, and therefore, learning about how they run their business is going to be equally important. So yeah,
But by the way, kind of fascinating that, you know, the brand new entrant does better with the enterprise customers than it's just like exactly. It flips everything on its head.
Exactly. We say no to so many company customers that are like, it's a very famous saying in the industry, is a chuck in a truck. Like this dude is doing everything, and he reaches out to Broccoli, and he's going to be like, if you give me this solution, it's going to change my world, according to him. And we say, unfortunately, no, it's going to add more trouble after a month when you realize the AI can't do more stuff because the systems are not there, and we can't access most stuff because everything is in his head. He does not know that we don't know which technician can do what, so we need a structure, and enterprises have those structures because their employees follow that playbook, and it's very easy for AI to adapt to a process that's already set than just like figure out what needs to be done. So
You've got to tell Chuck to use House Call Pro.
yeah, once he's on House Call Pro, we'll take care of him. But just to please Roland on this on this panel. But yeah, no, it's yeah. So it's a huge market. I think it's very fragmented. Even like only 25% of the companies are using any kind of SaaS. So we're not going after the 75% right now, but we're going after like maybe just like 3% or 5% of the market, and trying to see what's the value and what's the end game there, rather than becoming an AI call center for everyone.
Yeah. Omri, a lot of the founders in the audience are people who started their businesses before AI. And you've seen people in your portfolio both pivot entirely to AI, as in throw away everything they were doing before, and try to augment what they're doing with AI. How should people think about when to take which of those strategies?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Our portfolio is also really young, right? So like, we're 5 years old. We started our first company 4.5 years ago. We have no House Call Pros yet. Hopefully we do. And so they're, maybe in a more precarious position in terms of their resources.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a single company do like the full-fledged, I'm going to automate, some workflow end to end and build a system of record. I just think that's like really, really hard. Maybe you can get to roll and scale, you can do that. The ones who have fully pivoted, I was talking about some founders that we work with during breakfast, is it's actually been born more from like desperation. Like, it ain't happening. There's too much surface area to build in the system of record off the $3 million we've raised, or I can't onboard these customers, it's too complex. And so like, shit, I got 12 months of runway, 18 months of runway, like I'm just gonna do a hard pivot because I identified this workflow because I was close to the customer and I do understand them. In some cases it hasn't worked, but we've probably had, 6 or 7 companies that have done that, and some of our fastest growing companies now are those ones who pivoted. But again, I think it was out of a moment of desperation as opposed to playing offense. I think for companies that are doing pretty well, which probably describes most people in the audience here, it's a lot trickier, right? Because it's like, well, I got a lot to build in the system of record, I got to get to feature parity, there's more stuff to do. Like, I don't have kind of time to do both. And so very few of the companies that are doing well, they're doing the augmentation and adding little pieces here and there, but they're certainly not fully pivoting.
Yeah.
I think you can still throw a little flag in the sand too, though, as a system of record, and start working on small, bespoke AI use cases within what you're doing, because you've got all the right data to easily do like a variable prompt. That's just like click a button because
sure.
You've got this data.
So it's like 50% of our companies at this point have rolled out some AI
Exactly.
feature. Half of them are charging separately for it. But so yeah, I think they are doing some of that. It's just not the full sort of
The
end-to-end.
full thing,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. All right, we've got 2 minutes left, so maybe one kind of lightning round question to wrap up. For each of you over the last year, what is the thing about building with AI that has most surprised you?
I'd probably just say speed of progress, which, maybe that's an obvious answer, but like you think you understand how fast stuff is moving, and it just continues to surprise me how much better things are getting. And so that's where stuff gets interesting, right? You're like, if the 6 months that we just went through, it's what the next 6 months look like, and 12 months and 18 months, like, even if we don't get to full AGI, it's like, we're gonna be in a very interesting world.
Yeah.
Yeah, even I think the same thing, like the way our customers have reacted to Broccoli being live, and then after 3 months, they come up with like 10 other ideas that we can work on, has surprised us. So our product roadmap has become very easy. We don't debate in a conference room in San Francisco saying that this is what we're going to build. It's just evident, it's just in front of us. We're not dependent on better models. It's just us figuring out how do we solve this problem. So we are very excited about that, where we know all the problems that exist are right in front of us, and we just now need to figure out how do we solve them, rather than thinking about once we solve this, what happens after that. Because we started the company 4 years ago and we went through a pivot, and we've never seen this. Like, we've never experienced this pull from the market where and we feel we are very integral to their solution. That gives us more confidence, because we think a lot about that. Like, what happens if somebody rips us, like cuts off the access to system of record and everything. But I'm still able to sleep pretty well every day. It's fine, because it's still a hard problem, and I don't think anyone is thinking about just throwing AI would solve the problem. It's still a hard problem, so it's a long way, and like our customers have surprised us. Like, that's my biggest insight over the last 12 months.
Yeah, Roland.
Yeah, I just say the rate of adoption. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't think, B2B, I don't think everyone's ready to adopt AI. No one's really doing it besides just doing cool nano banana stuff, and those kind of things. But the reality is like, you're driving the road, one in about 12 trucks or so is a home service truck. A third of them are already using AI day to day. And that's just in the span of just a couple years. If you think how long it took to get them to even adopt using an FSM like House Call Pro, over the last 12 years, it's taken a while. But that curve is just moving faster and faster. So we are definitely in a point here, and the point is not to scare you all, but we're definitely in a point here where people are going to be expecting pretty crazy things because in their consumer life, they're used to dealing with, all the benefits that AI can bring them. So they're going to be expecting that in all the tools they use in their business life too. So there's a moment of window right now where you can put kind of your flag in the sand a little bit and start making some bets there, saying outright pivot anything. If you're a system record, you're in an excellent position because you already earned that trust. You have the distribution, or at least some distribution. But building AI things that produce value is not very difficult if you have the data.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.